Today just to tell the truth. So hopefully we can get down to the bottom of this. I'm 100%, the charges against me are 100% false. And hopefully due to time, we'll start to see that.
Well, Bill and Sade, accepting a plea agreement would mean that Sean Combs would have to admit to trafficking and force. And today he made it very clear that was not going to happen. Diddy maintained all along these encounters involved consenting adults and plans to take his chances that a jury agrees.
Well, it's not up to me. It's up to Mr. Combs, and I don't see it happening.
Why?
Because he believes he's innocent. He believes he's innocent. And what's more, he believes that he needs to stand up, not just for himself, for his family, and for everybody who's been targeted by the federal government.
How can you support your father?
Earlier today, the FBI reportedly discovered a hidden tunnel in the home of rapper Sean Diddy Combs. The tunnel led to the basement of a nearby property that once belonged to Michael Jackson. What they found beneath was unexpected. A large underground space filled with strange items, including children's clothing scattered on the floor. Authorities say the scene raised serious concerns.
We're seeing a new glimpse into the raids of hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs' Los Angeles home. The mother of Diddy's son recently released this footage to her Instagram page as she slammed federal agents, accusing them of using militarized force against her son. Misa Hilton, the mother of Diddy's son Justin Combs, posted the sped-up surveillance video of last Monday's raids as agents with Homeland Security descended upon Diddy's reported $40 million LA home. In the first few seconds of the clip, you can see armored tanks arrive outside the home. Then agents with their guns drawn open one of the cars parked in the driveway. The video then highlights one particular agent who notices the home's security camera. He points the camera toward the ground. Once inside the home, federal agents can be seen using a drone. Then the video shows Diddy's son Christian with his hands in the air, pressed against the wall, then handcuffed. Diddy's son Justin then appears with his hands on his head. The agents then appear to take him down a hallway. The release clip ends with what appears to be another man who is dragged out of the home and on the driveway by agents. The aftermath showed Diddy's sons Christian and Justin on the lawn of the LA home while agents seemingly continued their search. Justin Combs' mom released a statement along with the video slamming the federal agents for the way they handled the raid. The statement reads, quote, "The overzealous and overtly militarized force used against my sons Justin and Christian is deplorable. If these were the sons of a non-black celebrity, they would have not been handled with the same aggression."
So the latest on the arrest of Sean Diddy Combs, this one has so many people talking, the disgraced music mogul facing federal racketeering, conspiracy, and trafficking charges. Both the prosecution and defense teams are set to discuss the next phase of action following the indictment as investigators work to determine potential co-conspirators. But how exactly did we...
Do you think that Diddy is actually Justin's father? I wouldn't know. But
Diddy's son, Christian Combs, recently opened up about what he allegedly witnessed. In those underground spaces, he claimed that his father invited him to disturbing private gatherings. Things escalated when courtroom footage appeared to show Diddy and his son involved in one of those events, drawing major attention during the ongoing legal proceedings.
The FBI found a tunnel this morning at the mansion of famous rapper Diddy in Los Angeles, Part 2. After receiving an anonymous tip from neighbors, agents rushed to the scene. During their search, they uncovered a tunnel beneath the carpet in Diddy's bedroom. Despite the family's pleas not to enter, the officers hesitated but ultimately decided to go in. The tunnel looked freshly dug, with wet dirt on the walls and trash scattered around. As they ventured deeper, the narrow space suddenly opened up to reveal 6 locked rooms. The agents couldn't access these rooms, and even more bizarrely, they found multiple intersections ahead in the tunnel. For safety, the agents called for backup and split up to investigate further. What they discovered was shocking. A tunnel connecting to the infamous Playboy Mansion, along with others leading to several Hollywood celebrities' homes. As the agents delved deeper, they quickly surrounded these residences.
Guys, they found underground tunnels at Diddy's homes. This was first brought up by Shadow of Ezra, where he talked about the underground tunnels in Diddy's luxurious Los Angeles mansion. It was an underwater swimming tunnel leading to a mysterious grotto reminiscent of an ancient and modern human use of caves. Now, this is all alleged, of course, but they say that this tunnel connects to the Playboy Mansion. You guys remember that? Hugh Hefner, the guy who lived with all those women? in his mansion. There's no available evidence right now. However, reports are noting that Combs' mansions do have a pool with an underwater swimming tunnel. They say it's not connected to the Playboy Mansion, but there is a reason why the Playboy Mansion keeps coming up. 10 years ago, they were building underground tunnels to the Playboy Mansion for people like Jack Nicholson for his birthday. So this way, they don't have to go through the outside, but go underground in secret to the Playboy Mansion to do God knows what. You can see the sketches here of these underground tunnels being built. They were working on it, and it was supposed to connect celebrities like Jack Nicholson, Warren Beatty, Michael Jackson, just to name a few. As reported by People magazine, these underground tunnels to the Playboy Mansion were sealed off in the 1980s. The question is, do you believe that? Stay safe and be smart.
Well, Bill and Sade, accepting a plea agreement would mean that Sean Combs would have to admit to trafficking and force. And today he made it very clear that was not going to happen. Diddy maintained all along these encounters involved consenting adults and plans to take his chances that a jury agrees.
Well, it's not up to me. It's up to Mr. Combs, and I don't see it happening.
Why?
Because he believes he's innocent. He believes he's innocent. And what's more, he believes that he needs to stand up, not just for himself, for his family, and for everybody who's been targeted by the federal government.
Christian Combs, Diddy's eldest son, is now believed to be quietly working with federal prosecutors in New York. This comes just days before Diddy is set to appear in court over serious charges related to sex trafficking and racketeering. The case is drawing national attention as new developments unfold.
How can you support your father? How do you support him moving forward?
For 4 years, rumors have circulated about secret tunnels connecting Diddy's property to other high-profile locations like the Playboy Mansion. Now, during a 2024 FBI raid, those rumors gained serious weight. Authorities confirmed that Diddy's son, Christian, was actually found inside one of these tunnels. Reports say the tunnel's hidden entrance was beneath the rug in Diddy's master bedroom. It supposedly connects to older underground paths built beneath the Playboy Mansion in the 1970s.
Like the media and everyone is trying to say, no, there's no connection. Well, have you guys even figured out if there's a connection yet? I feel like authorities are so stuck in time in the past where like they say, oh, don't look into this. Don't investigate this. These claims aren't real. But then we see social media sleuths put together these stories and solve investigations. I'm not saying the authorities aren't smart people. They can figure it out. But sometimes the help from the public can lead to, us actually figuring out the truth. But do the authorities want the truth? It really matters who's at the top and who they're trying to protect. Another conspiracy theory that circulated at the time of the raids was that Diddy escaped through an underground tunnel. I do believe he has an escape route planned when it comes to his Miami property because he can easily access the Bahamas through a boat. When it comes to his LA property, he might have a backup plan, which kind of explains these tunnels.
In case you're wondering where Diddy hosted these parties, specifically the parties that took place underground, I was absolutely shocked to find out that there is an underground mansion with tennis courts, indoor pools, marble everything, a literal ballroom. And this checks out because Ali Carter was talking about this underground ballroom. Like, actually, imagine being 5 floors beneath the surface. Willing to bet there's no cell service. What are you going to do? Scream? Run? Where are you going to go? Actually terrifying to know that this exists. Like, just want to play tennis in my underground mansion. I have no words. It's crazy.
I literally took one sip of my beverage and the whole side of my face felt like I had a stroke.
Isn't that, to my mind, that's one of the bigger hurdles in selecting a jury this coming week, is that there is, at least anecdotally, when I talk to people, they have that opinion, strongly held opinion, that there's celebrity tapes, that they've kind of conflated Epstein, and you mentioned Ghislaine Maxwell and all of these things into Diddy. There's this idea that somehow this is Epstein redux or something.
Diddy was arrested in September 2024, more than 6 months after the FBI searched his homes in March. some insiders believe he may have used one of the hidden tunnels under his Miami property to avoid arrest. TMZ also reported that Diddy's Los Angeles residence included similar underground access. One lawsuit filed by producer Lil Rod includes footage allegedly showing Christian Combs involved in inappropriate activity in one of these tunnels. Christian, like his father, is now facing legal action. A woman named Stardust Grace Omar, 26, claims she was drugged and assaulted at a party hosted on one of Diddy's boats. She has filed a lawsuit naming Christian as responsible for the
2022, Christian reportedly arrived very intoxicated and then proceeded to pressure Omarky to take shots of tequila. She did. Christian allegedly tried to get her to drink more in the yacht's makeshift studio. Omarky alleges that Christian kissed her neck, kissed her face, as he groped her legs, breasts, and private areas. Omarky reportedly told Christian, quote, "Excuse me, you don't touch my legs like that. I'll move my legs where I want to. If I want to do this, then I will. You don't touch my legs like that." Omarky then says that she told Christian she couldn't stay with him unless it was approved by a supervisor, all of whom she knew would be asleep at the time. So this was a way for her to get out of the situation. She claims that Christian said, "Who can I talk to? I'm going to say I requested you right now." Omarky then says she responded with, quote, "Well, you can take your hand off my ass for the first thing." Omarky says that she tried to go back to her work, but Christian found her again, wanted her to find him a place to sleep for the night. So she ended up taking him to the cinema room for the yacht, which doubled as a place for people to sleep. And she claims that is when Christian blocked her and groped her, took off his clothes, tried to force her to perform oral on him. She says that she was able to fight him off until someone came in.
What made you come here to support Puff?
I'm supporting Puff because he's innocent, and I'm wholeheartedly believing his innocence, and I know he's innocent. So,
You said you know he's innocent.
1,000%.
Mr. Combs feels A, he's innocent, which is why he's not going to plead guilty. B, he's going to be truthful about this case because he wants to portray that to the people who have loved him his whole life. And I think he also feels an obligation to people in general. Maybe it's black people, maybe it's white people, maybe it's anybody who's ever felt aggrieved and targeted by the government. He feels an obligation to those people to say, you know what? Maybe I can break the model. Maybe I can show the world that a black man can win, in federal court. And I think he probably is the only person I know of who might be able to actually accomplish that.
And when the judge did, Diddy, who was sitting at the defense table with his attorneys, did not show any signs of emotion. He took a sip of water before he was led out of the courtroom by the U.S. Marshals. Now, his lawyers have vowed to fight this. They are going to be back in court on Wednesday before the judge who will oversee this trial and try to get Diddy to be released.
Diddy has faced growing criticism over his treatment of those closest to him, including his adopted son, Quincy. People in the music industry had long noticed their unusual dynamic, but few expected how serious the allegations would become. Artist Freddie P., who previously worked with Diddy, claimed he witnessed troubling behavior between Diddy and Quincy. Some sources even suggest that Diddy began exerting inappropriate influence over Quincy from a very young age.
No, why were you so infatuated with a child that wasn't yours? Were you grooming that little boy? I don't even want to start those conversations because that's not your child. You know what I'm saying? And for you to keep him that close, it's like you kept him that close because he might got your secrets because he's not your child. So if he's not your child and you that type of person with that type of character, you don't mind actually doing it to him when he finally reaches a certain age because he's not yours. And you know in your mind he's not yours. And now you keep him real close to you. You make sure he don't go to his daddy. Why? You make sure he's separated with him and you provide him with everything he wants. Why? You got one of them little Michael Jackson secrets. He got one of them secrets that he can't tell nobody because his legacy, his manhood gonna be, and not only that, his brother don't gonna look at him crazy. Only Puffy know, only God and Puffy.
Talking about Quincy, right?
I don't know. All I'm gonna say is, I don't know.
I'll be sure, son.
All I'm gonna say is, who's infatuated with another man's son like that? Like that seemed like grooming to me. I got, oh, that's his daughter's brothers. Get the fuck out of here. Huh?
What happens is if people go into a trial believing the firepower on the prosecution is so strong, I mean, let's say on a scale of 1 to 100, it's a 95 that it's so strong, but it goes down to an 88. That helps the defense because everybody goes in thinking, wow, they're going to prove this and they're going to prove this and they're going to prove this. And all of a sudden, none of it's there. I think that actually helps the defense.
And these concerns come on top of past accusations involving Diddy's family. At one point, he reportedly made uncomfortable comments about his own mother saying to friends that he found her attractive. In a resurfaced video from 2022, Diddy is seen sharing a joint with his mother while discussing an idea for a strip club where he jokingly said she could be the center of attention. The clip ends with Diddy giving her a kiss on the lips, which many viewers found disturbing, especially given the context.
Yeah,
my mom's good. Hold on, let me introduce you to my mom. Call Mom Dukes.
Hi.
She's getting a drip with me. She's hydrating. What's up, Mom?
Everything's good, baby. I'll be with you.
Yeah.
I love you.
I love you too. Mom, freshly dipped though. I was trying to show you the shoot. Yeah, my mom's is single. Mom's is single. I ain't gonna hate on my mom's. She's single. Me and my mom talked about one time doing a dating show with her. And she's so picky. She's so picky, they don't stand. But yeah, that'd be the funniest show in the world.
It will be. Especially with me.
I don't even want to get started if she was doing that. We're not doing that. But yeah, my mom's single. Yeah, for real. Mom Duke know how to have a good time. And she ain't sitting in the house playing. They outside moving and shaking, baby. She come with me to the strip club. I don't care. For real. It's my dog. You know, I want to live life. Be out here moving and grooving. So my mom told me, she just said, keep moving, baby.
That's right.
Keep moving.
Don't stop.
She could touch the floor with her palms. You know? Flat. Oh! Take pew, pew, pew.
At trial, Combs will ditch the jail garb and wear ordinary clothes. As his lawyers argue, the evidence shows consenting adults being intimate in their own way.
We have the latest from federal court in the Sean Combs criminal case. Status of jury selection, what Diddy's going to be wearing, violation of a gag order, rejecting a plea offer.
According to recent court filings, Diddy allegedly organized disturbing private gatherings and his son Justin may have been involved. The documents related to Low Rod's complaint include photos of Justin appearing at one of these events, along with claims that he helped Diddy track down former employees. It's also alleged that Diddy's children played a role in covering things up over the years. In fact, reports suggest that Justin was the one who first warned Diddy that Cassie was planning to release the now infamous video of her being attacked.
His involvement in an alleged shooting cover-up. According to court documents, it happened on September 12, 2022, outside Diddy's Chalice Studios. Lil Rod says Diddy, his son Justin, and Justin's friend who went by G were all there when things got heated. Lil Rod says he heard multiple gunshots ring out and later found G on the bathroom floor in the fetal position. Lil Rod says he was bleeding out of his hip and leg area. Lil Rod says he was applying pressure to G's wounds and then asked the crowd to call an ambulance. At that point, both Diddy and Justin Combs disappeared to another part of the studio. Diddy then gave strict instructions to inform the police that he had nothing to do with the shooting. He also forced Mr. Jones to lie to the police by telling them that G was shot standing outside the studio by a drive-by assailant. So that specific allegation involves Diddy's son Justin, but another allegation and entirely separate civil lawsuit involves his other son, Christian, or King Combs. Grace Omar K. alleges that Christian Combs assaulted her on a yacht in December 2022, and she says it was facilitated by Diddy.
Here is the other thing with Mr. Burgess. He apparently says he owns the rights to a book that was reportedly based on the alleged memoir of Kim Porter. In fact, according to TMZ, Burgess' phone was seized by the feds, and on it was a copy of a flash drive with material that was used in this book. Here's the problem. Christian and Quincy Combs, these are the sons of Diddy and Kim Porter. Quincy's actually adopted by Diddy. But they are reportedly fighting back, and they have sent Burgess a cease and desist letter to prevent the further sale of this book. They argue this is just an attempt to capitalize on Porter's fame and that they own the rights to her IP, her intellectual property, like her diary entries, her potential manuscript. As her heirs, they own it. And they also want an accounting of current sales of the book. To be clear, though, they aren't acknowledging that there is, in fact, a long-lost memoir from their mother. In fact, they've actually denied that before when there was a similar book, a derivative work, we'll talk about that, published by this guy named Chris Todd on Amazon. They were adamantly fighting against that. They said that their mother wouldn't write this. But what they're basically saying is if something should exist, they own it.
The last hearing before Sean Combs' trial starts, when he walked into federal court today, he appeared to be looking for his family. They've pretty much been at all of the hearings that I've been to, but there was no presence of his sons or his mother or his sister who had previously been at those hearings.
Do you still think that, because there is this public perception, that there are celebrity tapes involved in this case?
No.
Do you still think that there are minors involved in this case?
I'm certain no.
Okay.
And again, when you say this case, we're talking the criminal case.
The criminal case.
In the
correct.
criminal,
I know that.
In the criminal case, in the criminal case,
Right.
no.
Another major voice in the case is Mia, a former assistant who worked closely with Diddy. Her testimony left the courtroom stunned. Mia described the environment inside Diddy's estate as deeply unsettling, marked by fear, pressure, and emotional manipulation. She claimed that Diddy maintained control through intimidation, creating a toxic atmosphere that made staff feel trapped and afraid to speak out.
State is one of them. So I was wondering, did she ever get in New York? Because if she did by Puff, the state could bring up that charges against him.
Back up a little bit, please.
How can you support your father? How do you support him moving forward?
Y'all know what this is about. Put your hands up.
What Diddy's going to be wearing? Violation of a gag order? Rejecting a plea offer?
During the trial, Sean Diddy Combs won't be appearing in a jail uniform. Instead, he'll be dressed in regular clothes, while his legal team argues that the situations shown in the evidence involve private moments between consenting adults and nothing criminal.
News. This is involving the Sean Combs trial. Senior national correspondent Laura Ingle is standing by with legal analyst Misty Maris. And Laura, you are learning Combs could potentially be removed from his trial and not allowed in the courtroom. What can you tell us?
That's right, Nicole. This has just happened in the last few minutes, and this would be a huge development if he is removed for the rest of the trial. And what has happened here, as we are going through the cross-examination of one of Cassie Ventura's friends, who we've been telling you about, Brianna, who has been on the stand, Sean Combs has been, according to the judge, vigorously nodding during some of this cross, engaging with jurors, or at least appearing that he's trying to, looking at jurors. That is not allowed. And as you mentioned, legal analyst Misty Maris is here. I'm just going to scoot her in. This is breaking news, so we're just bringing her right in because we're here at the courthouse together. You just came over to tell me what the judge said. Explain to us what this means.
Yeah, so this was huge because what the judge admonished the defense team, saying that Combs had been engaging with the jury, meaning that he's making direct eye contact with the jury and having a reaction, nodding his head. The judge said this is jury interference. It's to influence the jury, and actually referenced that the defense was warned not only today during Bongolin's testimony, but also had been warned previously during the testimony of George Kaplan. So this feeds into a federal rule which relates to disruptive conduct by the defendant in the courtroom. And the rule says that if somebody is warned by the judge, the defendant is warned, but the conduct continues, one of the consequences could be removal from the courtroom for the remainder of the trial. And Laura, that is of huge consequence to the defense.
Yeah, and all along we've been seeing Sean Combs, passing notes, and that's allowed with his defense. He's been very active. He's been paying attention, and we have heard of him nodding along during some of the testimony, but this is something different.
Correct. So engagement with your attorneys, passing notes during testimony, even being a bit reactive to witness testimony, looking at the witness and perhaps having a reaction and looking engaged, all fine. It's when it comes down to engagement with jurors and something that could tend to influence them in some way. And what the court looks at is their influence or intimidation. Is that what the defendant is doing, and could it have that impact? So here the judge was taking a very strong stance. And keep in mind, from the defense perspective, that would be the most severe consequence, removal from the courtroom, because every defendant has the right to face their accusers.
His lawyers had argued that he had made good faith efforts by showing up in New York, ready to surrender to face these charges. But prosecutors said that he could not be trusted, that he has a history of trying to intimidate witnesses, including some who are going to be witnesses in this case. They urged the judge to remand him.
He knows the deck is stacked against him. They've got a ton of evidence. Take the plea deal, dude. Just take it.
Well, my guess is that because we don't know the deal of the plea deal. At least I don't think we do.
True.
Okay.
Tensions in the courtroom are rising. Just yesterday, the judge warned Diddy after seeing him try to interact with jurors, something that's strictly prohibited. The judge even threatened to remove him from the courtroom. There are also reports suggesting that at least one juror may have already been compromised.
Diddy Juror 6 gave multiple inconsistent statements. The judge was going over his issues with juror number 6, and although he did not make a final determination, his thoughts on juror number 6 being removed were pretty clear. He stated that in the initial process, juror number 6 said that he lived in the Bronx with his fiance and his daughter. Then he turned around a while later and said that he moved to New Jersey with his girlfriend, and also said that his daughter lived in New Jersey. But then it changed again and said that his daughter lived in the Bronx with his aunt. And he referenced that this was only a couple of the inconsistent statements, that there were more. The judge then stated that he wants this juror off the jury because there is no reason why this man would have to lie, and the only reason he would lie is to be a part of the Diddy trial, which made him worry that this juror might have a malicious intent or an agenda. But then after the judge said that we need to strike this juror off of the jury, Diddy's team started bringing up more arguments about this. Diddy's lawyer said that this juror is important because they need diversity, and he is only one of 4 black men that sit on the jury. He also said that he doesn't believe that these inconsistencies were that big of a deal where this juror would have to be removed. Diddy's team was arguing that this is something that should have been brought up weeks ago, and nobody brought this up, and the government is saying, listen, I didn't even know about this back then. And then Diddy's lawyer said something really, really weird. They said, just bring this juror in, just question him. I'm sure it's nothing. I'm sure he'll be able to explain. But this is what the government wanted the judge to do earlier, and Diddy's lawyer said, no. That would be harassing the juror. Then the judge told everybody to get out of the courtroom, that they needed to have a sealed talk.
Diddy's lawyers had argued that he had made good faith efforts by showing up in New York, ready to surrender to face these charges. But prosecutors said that he could not be trusted, that he has a history of trying to intimidate witnesses, including some who are going to be witnesses in this case. They urged the judge to remand him.
He knows the deck is stacked against him. They've got a ton of evidence. Take the plea deal, dude. Just take it.
Well, my guess is that because we don't know the deal of the plea deal. At least I don't think we do.
True.
Okay.
All more concerns about the jury have come to light. It turns out that the 6th juror may have provided false information about their background during selection. This development wasn't unexpected. Many believe that while Diddy may not be able to change the evidence, he could be trying to influence the outcome by using his wealth and connections.
Sean Diddy Combs' team is once again asking a judge to declare a mistrial in his sex trafficking
and racketeering case. Defense attorneys claim prosecutors presented false evidence alleging Combs dangled a woman from a balcony in Los Angeles in 2016, saying that they can prove he was in New York City at the time. Let's bring in ABC News legal contributor Bernarda Villalona to break this all down. Thanks so much for being with us. Diddy's team claims that the woman committed perjury on the witness stand, and that's why they were asking for a mistrial. What do you make of this move?
Yeah, so I was in the courtroom when this witness was testifying, and when the defense attorney, Ms. Westmoreland, confronted this witness with the travel arrangements where Sean Combs was in a different state when she alleged that she was dangled over this balcony. So in terms of what the defense is trying to do, they're trying to prevent a miscarriage of justice. They are asking the judge to step in and not to wait and see what a jury would do, because now they've shown a pattern of prosecutorial misconduct by this prosecutor. Number one, with the insinuation that Sean Combs has something to do with paying off LAPD to get rid of evidence, and now with condoning this perjured testimony. So yes, they're asking for the judge to step in now and make a decision, and not to wait to see what a jury would do. Also to remember that they're doing this now because they are doing two things. They're also trying the case in front of a jury, but if there is a conviction, they want to make sure that they have brought this issue up before this judge, so that way an appellate court can review this decision.
Okay, thank you for explaining that context there. And prosecutors, they are expected to respond to the mistrial request before court resumes tomorrow. What do you anticipate will happen?
So on this specific issue, I think the judge is going to deny the defense's request for a mistrial. The reason being because they're dealing with something having to deal with the credibility of a witness. The jury is the finder of fact. They are the ones that determine the credibility of witnesses. So that being the case, the judge is going to say that it's up to the jury to determine the witness's credibility, that being of Cassie Ventura, and also of this witness that supposedly gave perjured testimony. So they're going to leave it. The judge is going to let the jury to decide and going to deny the defense's request.
The decision guarantees Combs will face trial beginning just 4 days from now that will test whether one of music's most prolific figures used his power, wealth, and fame to exploit both women and men for decades.
Elaborate, sometimes days-long parties by coercing victims through drugs, threats, and manipulation. They claim to have video evidence, and some of the accusations echo details from over 70 civil lawsuits filed against Combs over the last 30 years.
Major developments tonight involving the case against Sean Diddy Combs, what he decided in court today, and what this now means, the move coming just 4 days before his trial is set to begin. Here's Aaron Katursky.
When it comes to evidence linked to Diddy, things seem to mysteriously disappear. In the investigation into the arson attack that blew up Kid Cudie's car, fingerprints were actually found at the scene, but before they could be properly analyzed, those prints were somehow accidentally erased during lab processing. Was it just a mistake or something more?
Is adjourned today in the sex trafficking and racketeering trial of Sean Diddy Combs. Today, the defense requested a mistrial following testimony from an LA arson investigator, but the judge denied the request. ABC's Rena Roy has the latest.
A mistrial request denied in the federal criminal trial of Sean Diddy Combs. His defense team accusing the government of prosecutorial misconduct during the testimony of a Los Angeles arson investigator who spoke about fingerprints that were lifted from the front door of rapper Kid Cudi's home as part of an investigation into a break-in there in 2011. The investigator testifying that those fingerprints were destroyed, and when prosecutors asked the investigator if that was unusual, the defense accused them of trying to plant the idea that Combs was responsible.
The overall implication, according to the defense, is that somehow Sean Combs created that disappearance. The defense moved for a mistrial, and they moved for it because what they said is it's unduly prejudiced, because this is the whole theory of what the prosecution is putting forth, is that he has this control and can make these investigations disappear.
Instead, the judge striking that part of the testimony, telling jurors to disregard it. Right before, the jury heard from a police officer who responded to that break-in, testifying that he saw a black Escalade leaving the scene with plates registered to Combs' company Bad Boy Productions. The arson investigator also testifying about another incident at Kid Cudi's home in 2012 when his Porsche was set on fire. He testified about the smoke and fire damage in these photos that were shown to the jury and said he determined the fire was targeted and started with a Molotov cocktail. Kid Cudi last week testified he believed Combs was responsible for both incidents after finding out he was dating Cassie Ventura.
Even if Diddy avoids conviction, the damage to his reputation may be permanent. The shocking claims about him have already done serious harm. His legal team has already asked for 2 mistrials and is now preparing a 3rd request. It's believed that they may have intentionally placed juror number 6 to create grounds for a mistrial if jury interference is proven. The case could be tossed out.
Also tonight, our first look inside Combs' Miami mansion, the day federal agents busted the gate open last year to raid it. A federal agent testifying about the evidence, guns and ammo seized from Diddy's home that were found near alleged freak-off supplies, which included dozens of bottles of baby oil and boxes of platform heels, bondage restraints, and bundles of rope. Also photographed as evidence that day, motivational messages on Combs' bathroom mirror that included "You a legend," and "Upward motion," and drugs. Lots of drugs, including ones found in plastic bags inside a Gucci bag and orange tablets with the Tesla logo that tested positive for LSD.
If Diddy walks free, it likely won't be because he was proven innocent, but because he may have found a way to manipulate the system. But now, more people are speaking out, and it's harder to hide. This trial isn't just about one man anymore, it's also exposing the powerful network that may have protected him for years. Do you think real justice is possible when money and influence control so much? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates.